Hello, guys. It is Nerdquest Podcast, and we're back from our 2-week hiatus because Josh is back. Josh, I missed you.
I missed you too.
Hi, Josh.
Hi.
As always, we're not affiliated with the Nerdquest indie movie coming out. We're just, your typical podcast that talks about nerdy shit. I'm your host, Jacob Farnworth, and with us, as always, is...
Josh Henlin, a.k.a. Zorgulon, Destroyer of Worlds.
I never thought I would ever say I miss Zorgulon, but I miss Zorgulon. We have a returning guest, third or fourth time on the podcast.
Oh my gosh, James, you need a life.
Yeah, third time.
Hey, he has a life. Okay, it's on the podcast.
Yeah, it's my third time. It's James the Amazing Gimp.
Yeah!
You may remember him from the big one that he was in was, of course, our Zombie Apocalypse
Apocalypse, most popular one. And then our Cyberpunk versus Steampunk, which is actually getting up there in views. So,
really?
I think last time I checked, I think it was in the mid-20s, almost 30s. So
thank you.
Yeah, thanks to the viewers.
Yeah. Then we have one of our cuddly female friends.
We have a new guest, one of our new... Believe it or not, we have multiple female friends.
That are nerds.
Yeah.
We're a rare breed.
Yes.
And only some of them were stolen from insane asylums.
Yeah, I mean,
This one was.
I mean, technically we kidnapped her, but...
Well, shh.
But
That's
it's okay,
only according to the state laws.
Okay.
I know where the doors and windows are. I'll find a way.
Okay.
But we have
Locked.
our new guest getting around to her name eventually
She has
is...
a name?
Oh, I'm supposed to come up with a name. This is exciting.
No,
Hi.
you just say your name.
Well, I'm Lauren of the Odie clan, and I guess we'll get around to something more exciting and colorful later.
Yes, we will. I don't have anything colorful about my name. He started the whole Zorgulon thing, and then James
I think
really
that's important. I'm getting some feeling here from, looking for group, so Lord of the Dance and all that jazz.
Kind of.
There we go.
I'm just the normal one.
Yeah, well.
Normal.
That's really sad.
Well, Jake, I'm not 100% sure what our podcast is on today, but something came in the mail for you. It was a copy of Voyages with Vampires by Gilderoy Lockhart.
Oh, Gilderoy Lockhart.
Yeah.
Wow, that takes me back to, when he was a Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher. And what year was that? That would be
second year?
Second year, which would be Chamber of Secrets in
It
Book
would.
2, and that is what we were talking about today, is
Woo.
Book 2 of the Harry Potter franchise. It is a Pottercast.
Oh, you guys have fabulous showmanship.
Yes. If you didn't check the Facebook, Tumblr, that you would, obviously you're in the dark that it's a Pottercast, but people who do check the Facebook and Tumblr know it's an actual Pottercast.
Hint, check the Facebook and Tumblr.
Yeah.
And send us things like questions.
We'll post the links in the description. Actually, we do have a question, and it's not related to Book 2, but it's one we've had for a while. It's going back to the first book.
Okay.
How'd you guys feel, and we won't spend too much time on this, how'd you guys feel about, why it was called Sorcerer's Stone in America, but
And
everywhere else it's called
Philosopher's Stone,
I when I first read it, I was like, okay, I was actually confused, because when I saw Philosopher's Stone, I was like, is this the sequel? Is this the newest book? And then I found out that, no, it's just the same book, just different name. I never got why.
I know why. I mean, I haven't heard from on high, but
Regale us.
Yes, it's pretty much that Sorcerer's Stone has a little more punch.
Mm-hmm.
Because you think sorcerer and sorcerer
power, magic,
power, all this.
Yeah.
Whereas philosopher is a little more intellectual, a little more. A lot of people in America would say boring.
Well,
and seeing where
that doesn't necessarily carry magical connotations in the States.
Right, because Aristotle
that's more
and Plato
someone,
don't.
yeah. That's more someone who you try
Really
to
old.
avoid on the university campus. But
I'm sure
that would be me.
Especially since the age group the first book's intended for, I couldn't see a lot of kids that age seeing Philosopher's Stone and getting excited about it.
Right.
But at that age, that's where imagination is really starts to run around and go crazy. And so you see sorcerers, and if you already know about them, you're thinking ooh, magic and all that stuff.
Picture of a boy on a broomstick. I want in.
Yeah. So I guess that is and even on the Philosopher's Stone, the UK version, it wasn't even him on the broomstick. It was him in front of the Hogwarts Express. Yep. So you see Philosopher's Stone, you see a guy in front of a train. It's not gonna and this is really kind of saying something about America, is the fact that that won't grab you, but you got to make it action packed and look cool and shiny.
Yeah,
I like shiny.
But how do you feel about that as an adult?
Looking back on it, sometimes it kind of feels like a slap to the face, saying that, oh, well, maybe Americans aren't going to get this. They're not intellectual enough to understand what it meant as Philosopher's Stone. and that we got to do something to somewhat dumb it down to pull them in. Like, they won't be pulled in by the cover art and by the name of the book.
Well, maybe necessarily not even dumb it down, but just render it in terms that the American public would understand. Because, yeah, like we just said, philosopher isn't exactly something with magical connotations in the States. It's not something that people would necessarily associate with the magical world of Harry Potter. It's more just...
But...
it's academic.
And I get that, and it's just that... But it's still kind of like...
Yeah, sure.
And it makes me wonder, like, if they had kept it Philosopher's Stone, would I have read this series? Where, like, how many people... How far would have branched out in at least America?
Right.
And,
exactly.
And would it be a thing where it was mainly, like, on that... across the ocean and Europe and stuff?
Right. How do you feel about it, James?
I feel like the title should have been changed to Sorcerer's Stone regardless, because the title Philosopher's Stone is a little disjointed from the actual subject matter that's in the book. It doesn't connect the same way.
Yeah, because Nicholas Flamel wasn't a philosopher, wasn't?
Yes, he was.
He was?
Yeah.
Okay, I never looked him up before.
I've done quite a bit of research on Nicholas Flamel, partially because there's the Alchemist series out, which is entirely about Flamel.
Which I think would hit closer to home with, considering what the stone was.
Right, and well, he was noted for being at the time he was alive, an alchemist and a philosopher. So neither of those are sorcerers, because sorcery, at least to me, it connotates a little more active involvement in magic, whereas someone who's an alchemist, they mix herbs all day. Yeah. Someone who is a philosopher, they think. That's what they do.
I gotta say, when I play Skyrim, I don't even touch an alchemy table because it just bores me.
my dad, all the alchemy ever made, ever.
I'm the same way. It's kind of bad.
But yeah, that's a question that I think sat in our inbox for a while now. We just haven't gotten around to it.
I apologize, whoever asked this question.
Yeah, it wasn't anonymous, but if you're listening, we're sorry for that. And also,
and we love you.
I was waiting for it to get to our next Pottercast to answer that one specifically. Also, real short answer.
So blame Jake.
Yeah, sure. Real short answer. Someone also asked if we're going to be eventually doing another zombie podcast.
Yes.
Answer's yes. We're just trying to figure out what we're going to talk about to make it not as like the same one as the last one.
I have ideas.
Okay, well, we'll go over that later. Right now, we're talking about Harry Potter.
Yes.
And so we're going to move from that question into book 2.
All right.
For you guys, where does it sit in your whole list of in like the series?
Favorites?
Yeah, a list of favorites.
That's really tough for me.
It really doesn't sit that high for me.
Same here.
Yeah.
Like, it was... I don't know how to explain it. It was the book that pulled me into the series, but it's not my favorite book.
It by far has some of the most... It and the third one have the most amount of magical creatures. I'm saying that only because that's what interests me. And I find it surprising that it has the sheer volume of creatures, but it ranks rather low. In fact, I'd say second to last, actually.
I would say it's down there for me with book 4.
Well... I don't really know why. I mean, I love, especially because all the creatures that are mentioned, I've read about before this, and I just loved basilisks, phoenix.
I'd never heard of one of those before, but I heard about like a phoenix before, and like those were really cool birds.
The other one is obviously giant spider.
Yeah.
They're called acromantula in the world of Harry Potter, and as many of my friends know, I am actually arachnophobic.
Really,
Josh?
Yeah, really.
Paralyzingly so.
Oh no, I'm right there with you, buddy.
But the weird part is I've been called the most masochistic arachnophobe ever, because I will constantly make characters that control spiders, that communicate with spiders.
Your spider magic deck?
Yes, I have Magic the Gathering. I have a deck entirely based around spiders.
You're like Batman, whereas like
I'm Spider-Man. I think that's fake copyright issues.
No, because if you remember Batman
Begins,
because
magical Spider-Man.
he was terrified of
he
bats.
talks about Bata's biggest fear. It's time for everyone else to experience that. So spiders are your biggest fear.
So am I going to become Spider-Man?
No. You're not.
Copyright issues.
Well, one, copyright issues, but two, let's face it, buddy.
You could be Man-Spider.
No, I'm not.
That suit will not look good on you. But how'd you guys? Where do you guys rank it in your list of favorites of the Harry Potter books?
Well, number 2 for me was a little forgettable, because I actually, when I got around to finally reading the books, the first 2 films had already come out. It took me a while to get into them, so I just picked right up with the 3rd book, and then came back around to the 1st and 2nd ones later after I'd finished book 3 or book 4. I am a heathen.
Yeah. Hey,
I should be burned at the stake, but luckily you would run into legal issues in this particular county for that, so I think I'm okay.
I think it's not a burn ban on right now.
It's not as bad as Jocelyn reading the 7th book first.
What?
Yeah, I know.
That's the only book she's read.
Jocelyn, we love you, but we hate you.
Yeah,
that's not okay.
That's the most ass-backwards thing you could do. But anyway, so...
Well, if it's really backwards, then you should call it backwards ass, but now we're just knitting pick. Oh, goodness.
So, did you give it a ranking?
Send me home. Yeah, it probably is lower. I was not a fan of book 4. I mean, it was an essential part of gluing the series together, but there was just a lot of adolescent angst there.
Wait, book 4 or book 2?
No, well...
Both.
We were talking about book 4 is at the bottom. I'd probably put it somewhere along that ranking because all the other books I really thoroughly enjoyed. Like 4, 2, 6, those are kind of on the lower ends of things for me.
Really? 6?
Yeah.
Really? Same here. I didn't like 6. I mean, it was a necessary transitional book to get from 5 to 7, but I don't know. It just
6 came from a very dark place.
Yeah. I didn't mind the darkness. That was intriguing.
Well, I didn't mind either, but at the same time, it's just, if I had my druthers, I'd read book 3 or 5 again.
It was a little jarring.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like the reason why I like book 6 is because it answered a lot of questions for you.
That's true.
And it not necessarily it wasn't gonna be like a happy book because it was all centered around the main villain, basically.
Right.
So it's gonna be a somewhat dark book, but I got a lot of answers.
Yeah,
that's
6
why
is still up there.
That's why 6 is up there.
Yeah.
And now ranking it like we're not saying that like book 2 or book 4 is bad. But
you should still read them.
None of them are bad.
They're all great and amazing books.
It's like rating cake. No cake is bad.
Well,
carrot cake.
Carrot cake is delicious.
Carrot cake is good.
Okay, guys. If I'm the one bringing
the cake has a huge influence on the quality of it. All of these were made by J.K. Rowling. So if Harry Potter books were pastries, then all of the pastries are going to be fabulous. Some are just going to be more favorable than others.
Lauren knows that I can't directly get into a confrontation with her. I can't directly tell her to stop.
But no.
And so I will take my liberties. Thank you.
And say that book 2's not a bad book, but it's also it wouldn't be our first go-to if we were to if we decided I'm going to read a Harry Potter book today and you go to the shelf. Book 2's not going to be the first one you go to.
You would take the triple layer dark chocolate cake over the little lemon bunt thing.
Which for me would be book 3.
Yeah.
It's got werewolves, book 3.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously. It's been so long.
Is that supposed to be a pun? You said seriously.
Thank you for picking up on that, Jake.
Oh my gosh, James, you're funny.
Let's see.
But no, yeah, if you're...
He didn't even get it.
No, I'm just surprised people notice.
Oh.
Anyway.
But book two had its moments for sure. I liked... Josh is going to hate me for saying this, but I liked the introduction of Dobby. And I liked... It was just...
He provided a really interesting character dynamic.
He did. And Josh is banging his head against the table practically right now because he hates Dobby.
With a
Josh,
passion.
don't be a household.
But I don't know. It was...
Oh! Very good one.
It was just really interesting... Just an interesting character to me because he's trying to be helpful, but at the same time he can't be helpful because he's
an idiot.
Of his existence.
It's not that he's an idiot; it's the fact that due to the family he's bound to, he can't tell Harry Potter everything.
Yeah,
and
can't rat him out, so he's really limited in his options.
He's really limited, so he's half the time he's basically playing charades, and he doesn't. He wants to get Harry home, and he doesn't have exactly the best ways of doing that, but he had the best intentions.
Nonetheless, I kind of wished he'd bang his head a little harder.
Bingo! Actually, I actually did I didn't like the character very much, and not because I found him annoying, although I did find him a little irritating. I've mentioned this several times. I'm a writer, so I have a very, very low tolerance for flat characters. Dobby has a total of 2 modes, as I mentioned to Lauren before. He has Free the House Elves and Love Harry Potter.
Yep.
Now, this was entertainingly...
And masochistic.
So,
yes, that's
I mean, Winky was a more dynamic character than he was, and that's kind of weird.
No, Winky... How? No, Winky was not...
She had the whole thing with...
She was a drunk elf
exactly
the whole time. There's no dynamic there.
At least there was some development
she was a sad elf, and then she was a drunk elf.
She was like an Irish elf
really
the whole
sad.
time.
Whiskey God created whiskey so the
Irish
couldn't rule the world.
Oh my god.
So no, but I liked a couple of the things Dobby did. I liked his mentality of, this is going to say a lot about me, but I liked his mentality of willing to do whatever it takes to make sure Harry is safe. Because he got him in trouble with the Ministry of Magic. I think this is my favorite bit of work.
Well, that part wasn't
he enchanted a bludger. That was my favorite bit of work.
Really? Your favorite bit of work was when he dropped the cake on the Dursleys' visitors?
I liked that, but since it wasn't the Dursleys...
I don't care. It directly corresponded to, like, fucking up something the Dursleys
Vernon
had going.
getting really, really pissed
and Vernon
off,
getting really mad.
Which is always good.
Something going south for the Dursleys, so of course that's when I was like, I'm going to like this character. That's when I knew.
Well, and I do like the side of Harry that Dobby brings out because, and I think...
Don't do that!
We're not getting across to the movies right now, I know, but I'm going into unauthorized territory anyway. But, I mean, like, in the films, for instance, I think Daniel Radcliffe did a really good job of showing, like, Harry's struggle to...
He's not mad, he's annoyed.
He's really pissed off, but at the same time, he feels so bad for this dumb, helpless character.
Well, he gets pissed off because of what
Dobby's there.
Because of what Dobby does to him, but then he kind of, like, that it kind of goes away when he realizes what Dobby's trying to do.
Yeah, and he realizes that there's legit danger here.
But then he gets pissed off because Dobby won't tell him what the hell's going on.
Because Dobby can't tell him.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm at least going to give him the credit for that. He tried.
Yeah. He tried, and back and gives him a sock later, which is awesome. So,
So, Josh, who'd you hate more, Gilderoy Lockhart or Dobby?
Which one sticks around longer?
Well,
Gilderoy Lockhart had completely his own chapter to him in the 5th book, so I think between
that's true.
I think between that chapter and the 2nd book, him and Dobby get about the same book time.
Yeah. Honestly, it's pretty close. I didn't like Dobby because he was a dynamic character. I didn't like Lockhart because he was an unlikable character.
Yeah.
You've gotta love it when Rowling brings those people in. Like, there's just deliciously horrible.
I do love how she intentionally writes in people that you're not supposed to like.
Yeah, I think I would have to say I dislike Dobby more because I like him for a more, I'm going to say, professional reason. Mm-hmm. Because Lockhart is designed to be disliked, and ironically, I like him because he's a good character. He's
a well-done character.
Yes, he's good at being hated.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
And he's good at memory
do I hate him.
Well, and he is multifaceted because, especially you have that moment in the chamber later where he's revealing, I'm a total fraud.
Spoilers!
But...
How long has this book been out?
I know this is Statute of Limitations, but you know people are going to get pissed.
It's got to be like over 10 years old.
At least.
Yeah.
At least.
Something like that.
I want to say
3rd grade. So
I want to say 2000 or 2001 was when the 2nd book came out.
So
wow.
Overall,
but he still has a badass side to him, which is cool.
That's true. Yeah, and I really like that.
He's just really good with memory charms.
I liked that.
But his ruthlessness there.
Yeah, his willingness.
The fact that it's hidden among beneath all of that facade of showmanship and I have a pretty smile.
I gotta say that
him and Umbridge.
Oh my god,
their children would be horrible.
Why would they have children? He has to touch her for that.
I think Kenneth Branagh really brought out.
Oh man,
Gilderoy. Like I can't think of anybody who could have brought Gilderoy Lockhart better than Kenneth Branagh. And that one part in the Chamber of Secrets that you're talking about where he reveals, he's like,
no, this wasn't me.
He's like, I'm gonna wipe your minds. This is what's gonna happen. And he really he's
so intense.
He's really intense. His tone just sets it, and he paints a really good picture with what's going to happen.
Well, and I have so much respect for Kenneth Branagh because, I mean, he comes from a classical
background.
Yeah, he comes classically trained in
every
Shakespeare
movie ever made.
I mean, and for most people, that was their first introduction to him in the States. But going on and seeing some of his other work, he is so
a great actor.
wildly talented.
There's one actor that
as a director and an actor.
There's one actor that, alas, while he could no longer play the role at the time, in his prime, I think he could have at least given Kenneth Branagh a run for his money. And that would be just because this is who I envisioned when I read the book. And that's Gene Wilder.
Oh. That would be fun.
Yes.
I'm not sure he has quite the pretty boy look to be able to carry it off, but he would.
Yeah,
that's what the makeup department's for.
He would do a very good job.
That's probably that and the fact that Gene Wilder is American, right?
Yes.
That was probably another reason.
Give him a voice coach.
He might have been in the running for it. Mm-hmm. But I think it's the fact that you're right. He doesn't have that pretty boy factor.
But he would be able to carry off the more intense scenes. I mean, from examples of his work in Young Frankenstein and
even the original Chocolate Factory.
Yeah. That boat scene.
Right? It scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, definitely me too. At that time though, I think he would have been too old to play.
Oh, he definitely would have.
Period.
I bring that up because I always, for some reason, when I was reading the book, I didn't even know Gene Wilder's name, but that's who I pictured as Lockhart.
30 years ago, could have done it.
Oh yeah, easily. Without even breaking a sweat.
And he has amazing hair.
Like you
does.
like in his prime, like Gene Wilder wasn't a bad looking dude.
No, not at all.
And his hair with how crazy it was, like, you could do a lot with that.
He worked in Blazing Saddles.
But that he like just the actor he is. Just the actor he is. He could have pulled the Gilderoy Lockhart out perfectly with that attitude and everything.
Oh, for those of you who are uncultured swine and haven't seen Robin Hood Men in Tights, that was a quote at the very end.
If you actually want to get kind of a look of what Gene Wilder would have looked like as Gilderoy Lockhart, look at not aesthetically but like acting wise, the Charlie and the Chocolate Factory probably would have been a good one.
I think that's why, because I actually saw that movie before I read the book.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably what influenced me.
No, that makes a lot of sense.
I have a question.
Yeah.
What are your guys' favorite little touch to Chamber of Secrets?
What do you mean little touch?
Like, okay, there's Lockhart. Lots of things that Lockhart did. Lilac, for example.
Yeah.
His alliterative titles. The fact that Molly Weasley was mooning over him and kind of giving you the
everyone
Twilight
was.
thing. There's the Sword of Gryffindor. There's Fawkes, the Phoenix, who I find a little bit of joy in that because of the gunpowder plot. Yeah, Phoenix fire related to gunpowder. But because my favorite little touch is the Goblin-made sword.
I like that. I don't. Thinking back on Chamber of Secrets, because one, I've like it's been a long time since I've seen it or read it and seen it. I think probably my favorite touch was the ways that people got petrified but didn't die by the basilisk. Like I think my favorite way someone got petrified was Colin Creevy.
If someone legitimately died, that would have just been such a downer. It would have been bad,
but it was kind of like creative.
The story wasn't ready to get that dark.
I liked
that happens later.
Yeah.
I liked who was it?
It was 5 through 7.
It was Justin Finch Fletchley who got petrified, but only because he saw it through Nearly Headless Nick.
Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah. And then the ghost becomes sort of cloudy and
Then there was Mrs. Norris, who saw the basilisk in a puddle of water.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I think actually that's one of my favorite touches. Not necessarily that, but Filch got so much character development in this one.
Oh sure.
Because he appeared a couple times in the first book.
Mm-hmm.
But he was a fairly flat character, and
it's the only book where I ever felt sorry for him.
Because that's his only companion.
Yeah.
Oh, I really hurt for him whenever I saw.
I just
realized,
and
then you get around to hating him again in book 5, but that's okay.
And then I felt bad for him again at the end of the 7th, because specifically the movie.
Yeah.
Because there's that scene where he's trying to sweep up some of the wreckage from the castle. I'm just like, oh, you poor bastard.
Yeah. It's a broken bastard.
Harry should have been like, just use magic. Oh, wait.
But he can't, because he's a squid.
I just realized that you get introduced to 3 annoying characters in book 2. You get Dobby.
Colin.
No. Someone worse.
Pretty irritating.
Someone worse than Colin.
But he can still be on the annoying list.
Okay, so 4 then.
Yes.
So you get Dobby.
Yeah.
Lockhart. Colin. Moaning Myrtle.
Oh God,
no.
I wanted to strangle. Oh, wait.
She was 34 when they filmed that movie.
Yeah.
But she looks, the costuming department and the makeup department did a
Well, she just has that baby face look.
Yeah.
She does.
Like one of the most interesting facts I've ever read about an actor who was like baby face was Ralph Macchio was 24 when he filmed Karate Kid playing a 16-year-old.
Really?
Wow. Actually, the guy's name is Coulson. It's not the Avengers Coulson.
Well, son of Cole.
The man who played Voldemort's memory in Chamber of Secrets.
Oh yeah,
he was 24.
Yeah, he was older too.
Yeah, he was 24, and the audition range was 15 to 17.
He looked
okay, so he was stretching a little bit, but he did a good job.
He did a very good job.
Yeah, he did. I had no complaints about
it takes a lot of maturity to be able to pull off a
younger
role
character.
like that. Yeah.
A younger evil character. I gotta say this. I was about what reason I love the book so much is because they corresponded to my age. I was about 10, 11 when the first one came out.
Yeah.
So I was about 11, 12 when the second one came out, so of course... Oh, Lord. My little 12-year-old mind was just blown with the whole letter rearranging thing.
Oh, me too. I loved how they did it in the movie.
My name is Lord Voldemort.
I feel like...
Hello, I am Lord Voldemort.
I feel like graphic-wise, they did it amazing
Yeah.
in the movie. They could have kind of made it cheesy, but it looked like he was just creating fire.
Yeah.
Or like he was just scorching the air with it. It was awesome.
Then there was, let's see. I like the basilisk. I loved the idea of parcel tongue.
Mm-hmm. I love when they bring that back around in book 7, where it's like, Ron went down to the tunnels and just starts kind of going. Then it opens.
I like in the movie how he's like,
Harry, Harry talks in his sleep,
and she's like, no, he's like, I noticed. And he's like, Ron, what are you guys doing when Harry's asleep?
But yeah, and yeah, I love the whole Air of Slytherin thing. The reason I love parcel tongue so much is because snakes are fairly commonly associated with magic and wizards and witches.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the ability to talk to them is also there, and it kind of adds the whole another dimension of magic words.
Okay, you just brought up a question I had earlier today, and I just remembered it.
Don't strain yourself.
Early on in the book, did you guys start suspecting who the heir Slytherin was?
I think so. It'll take some time to remember what I was thinking, because shit, I can barely remember what I had for breakfast.
My mind immediately went to Snape. Like, I don't care.
Didn't. Yeah, me neither.
I just from the first, even though he was good in the first book, I still didn't like him. In the second book, so I'm like Snape. Snape.
I remember my
Snipe.
I remember thinking that it's got to be one of the characters that never ever is brought up. So I think for a time I suspected Neville. Well, because one.
Hey, it's the one you don't expect.
Well, okay, partially
quiet ones.
Partially that, and I mean, okay, who does everybody always pick on?
Neville.
Yeah. So
Even in his own house, poor dear.
yeah.
Wow, that's.
And then he grew up beautiful and said, "Hey, fuck all of you."
Yeah, he grew up sexy.
Who's laughing now?
But no, yeah. So I think I was thinking, well, Neville's always one who gets picked on. He hasn't been mentioned a whole lot in this book. He's kind of been behind the scenes.
Yeah, it was the boy who got picked up by his ears by pixies.
No shit.
Oh,
and then the killing started.
He just gets out of class like, all right, fuck this shit. Everyone's gonna die now.
Well, and see,
and for a while, I did suspect Ginny.
Yeah, and for
Really?
they were trying to.
Well, yeah. She was everywhere when it happened.
Yeah.
Everyone was kind of everywhere when it happened.
Well,
Because,
she was always pretty close to the scene.
yeah. I never suspected Ginny. Like my whole time I was like, it's Snape or Malfoy.
Well, and they kept trying to push you towards Malfoy
Yeah.
throughout the book.
But that was the
and for that
purpose.
reason, I
It
was
was
thinking,
like,
no, it can't be
yeah.
him.
It
J.K.
was-
Rowling's too good for this.
Well,
There's going to be a
you
twist.
needed-
So I thought it would be some unidentified Slytherin.
Right.
With the
Parkinson.
fact that Voldemort
Fancy
wasn't
Parkinson.
coming up in the book, like you could have had it to where she didn't push Malfoy, but no one would be suspecting anything. And so like you needed that red herring.
Yeah.
And you needed someone to be like, okay, this is who I'm blaming this book, and this is who it's gonna be. And then that way, towards the end, you're like, oh well, I was wrong, and it starts to make you think. It's like, okay, well,
How do the pieces fall together?
How do the pieces fall together? Am I just blaming this person because I don't like him? Or stuff like that.
Jake.
Yeah, I started blaming Snape because I didn't like Snape. I wanted him to be guilty.
Question: who here knew what a basilisk was before reading the book? So James did, and I did, and Lauren did. I did because of my background, my dad being a huge history and mythology buff. I remember. Did you guys suspect that it'd be something like that?
No.
But the first time I thought something like that might be happening was when the roosters were brought up. Because, I've always been interested in, especially the beasties that go bump in the night. So I'm like, roosters. And I was thinking, that's not just a throwaway line.
Yeah.
There's something special. And so, I remember I combed through everything to find something about roosters in lore, and I'm like, but at the time I knew it as a cockatrice.
Yeah.
So, could it be a cockatrice? Maybe. Well, we'll come back to that.
Well, I
wasn't that intended to figuring it out because I was a year younger than you were when I read them. So
I was really annoyed.
Yeah.
I don't know. I never really tried to figure out what it was. I was just like, because I had no idea. Like, I was just like, this could be literally anything. Especially seeing what world it was in. Mm-hmm. Like, this could have been literally anything. It could have been something made up.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I don't have anybody in my family who's deep into mythology like your dad.
Yeah.
And anybody who really knows anything about that, so I didn't really have anybody to go to. And I didn't know where to look.
Part of the reason I was so intent on figuring it out is if you ever watch shows like Warehouse 13 or Supernatural with me or anyone in my family... we will attempt to guess what it is until we get it.
Which could be the moment of the reveal, but shh.
Usually we're pretty good, actually.
I believe you. Yeah.
Matthew's really good.
Yeah. They'll be like the moment of the reveal. They'll be like, they'll
give about 6 different clues that didn't come up before.
The Titanic.
They're like, it's a Rougarou, and Josh will be like a second after. He's like, Rougarou called it. I totally called it.
Josh, you're good at this game.
Weird. I know. But, yeah.
I don't know. It never clicked to me to find out what it was. I was just like, I'm just gonna write this out and see what it is. And when I found out it was a giant fucking snake, I was like, that's pretty badass.
I remember being really, really annoyed that there wasn't a giant lion to fight it.
That would have been funny. You know what would have been cool? Is if Dumbledore showed up.
There was a giant badger.
Hufflepuff kicks ass.
Now everyone takes Hufflepuff seriously.
Yeah, we win.
What would have been cool though is if Dumbledore showed up in the chamber at the end and just like used like fiend fire or something and just created a fire lion.
Yes.
And just fought, but my brain would have exploded.
Now, would Dumbledore have used fiend fire? Because that's pretty dark stuff.
Yeah, fiend fire is pretty dark.
We've discussed this before.
He used an unnamed fire spell in one of the movies and in the book.
And in the book, there's a 6th book with the Inferi.
Yeah, and it's kind of implied that it's fiend fire.
But maybe she didn't say that it was because she didn't want people like, why is Dumbledore using dark magic?
Yeah, I mean, Dumbledore's not me, and
I don't know.
Use
whenever I
to accomplish his goal.
Whenever I see Dumbledore in any of the books or anything, I never see him as inherently good. I feel like if he had to, he would use any kind of magic he needed.
Well, and he has any kind of magic at his disposal. You even get some of his backstory from talking to his brother. Yeah, what's his name again?
Aberforth.
Goats. Exactly.
I like him.
He's
a crotchety old...
I remember reading one theory as to what Dumbledore used as it's not a spell.
Yeah.
Dumbledore is one of the few wizards that are at that level of power.
Yeah.
It's just like, I'm going to make flames.
Well, kind of. It's almost like they can tap into an external source.
Yeah.
And basically, the theory I was reading goes that it was a djinn. That because djinn aren't like they are in Supernatural. They manipulate reality itself.
Okay.
And so the idea being that this was before it was revealed that Dumbledore had the Elder Wand.
Mm-hmm.
The idea was that someone had trapped a djinn inside his wand. And so he was using that to power his spells and magic. So he would...
Well, and he'd have the control to be able to do that.
Yeah, exactly. And so I read that theory, I was like, that's kind of badass.
You could trap a djinn in anything?
Yeah, like genies, that's all over Arabic and Middle Eastern folklore.
Well, I know you can trap a genie, but it didn't seem like... I know that... And
Djinn and genie are the same thing, though.
Okay. I thought they were like in the same like.
They're pretty.
No, genie comes from djinn.
Okay.
Yeah.
Djinn has a little bit of a different connotation.
Yeah, it implies a little more freedom.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you, Aladdin.
God.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, people would trap djinn inside like the foundations of buildings to give them strength.
That's an interesting theory.
Yeah.
That would have been kind of cool if it was true.
Yeah, or like I would like to believe that there's something that Dumbledore has that is an external source other than simple spells that like everyone else does, because it's heavily implied, especially with his duel with Voldemort. He uses a spell that is only known as Dumbledore's spell, and it's a spell that was so powerful that Voldemort had to conjure a shield to block it.
I wish that was in the movie.
I was so angry because that was my favorite moment. Like, I was reading that and I got chills because it described it as like the sound of an old iron church bell.
Yeah.
And I knew the iron was there intentionally because, I mean, iron in magic.
Yeah.
Kind of a big deal.
Did anybody ever suspect Lockhart? I know
that would have been the best plot twist ever. Oh my gosh.
It sounds
I'm so evil.
Yes.
It sounds kind of stupid.
No, I was just thinking about that same thing. That would just be basically J.K. Rowling flipping off all of her
Oh, everyone.
It's the fact that, think about it. He gets hired on, and then all of a sudden Dobby comes out of nowhere. Even though they found out before he was hired on.
Well, it makes sense.
As soon as he shows up to the school, all this shit goes down.
I didn't make that connection.
If you think about the fact too that
12.
Quirrell was kind of a fuck up as well.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah, but to me now.
So maybe Lockhart's beautiful hair is just a wig, and there's actually a Dark Lord parasite underneath it.
No, Lockhart's hair cannot be a wig.
It's too majestic.
It is. He may have enchanted his hair. I mean, no. Okay, this is miniature tangent. There's a book series that I really like, and I'm going to pimp it out here. It's the Iron Druid Chronicles.
You've done it before.
Yes. Then go fucking read it.
Yeah.
And there's a coven of witches, one of which actually has, it's an enchantment on her hair that makes it, like, it's a fascination enchantment.
Okay.
So basically it makes people just like, your hair, it's so beautiful.
I must touch it.
Conrad?
I'm positive. I have the same problem. But, notice Lauren is wearing her hair back. But...
Not in a ponytail. It is not flippable right now.
Oh.
But, no, it's just, it clicked to me, like, my third or fourth time reading Chamber of Secrets, that, like, I don't know why I didn't see it before. It's just, like, Lockhart shows up, all this stuff starts going down, and when it does happen, he's the defense against the dark arts teacher, which you think would be,
well, everyone knows
pivotal.
He's incompetent at that to begin with.
I know, but, like...
You just need the Pixie incident to show that off.
Yeah, it's a very good, cover for someone who's actually a dark wizard.
Yeah. It's like, whoa... okay, so he's incompetent, but still, the defense against the dark arts teacher should be somewhere around in the
general vicinity of the thing that is happening.
Yes.
Well, and even coming back to Quirrell, he was portrayed as, intelligent and capable prior to his quote-unquote accident.
And
but
before he became stuttering Professor Quirrell.
Yeah, so it is possible that something like that could have gone down with Lockhart, but I don't think...
Think about that plot twist, so that would have been crazy.
I wanted to suspect that simply because that would have been repetitive for Rowling as an author.
It would have been really easy.
It's like, it would be like the butler did it. It's the defense against dark arts or a teacher again. Oh, great.
Yeah, second year in a row.
Great. I wonder what's going to happen in book 3.
It's like, book 3... Like,
well, the defense against the dark arts teacher kind of did it in book 3.
It's like, you meet Lupin, he did it. I don't know what happened, but he did it.
And you find out he's a werewolf, and that it's treated like
and then you're like, wow.
I haven't even read what's going to happen yet, but he did it.
Okay, kind of off topic, still in Harry Potter world.
Whatever.
Favorite races you've come across?
Like...
Goblins?
Like Irish Chinese? Cho Chang?
No, first of all,
you are
that
allowed
was
to like
Scottish.
her.
Oh, who the fuck cares? They all sound alike.
I care. They do not sound alike.
They totally sound alike. You can't understand them. They all drink.
No, Scots are angry.
Scots are they're almost as angry as Germans.
They sound very aggressive.
The Irish get angry. Irish get angry when they're drunk.
Irish are a little bit more sing-songy, like,
Well, like, if you say the word Ireland, it's Ireland. That's Irish. Or Ireland. Ireland. Aye.
But favorite race? I don't know. I don't think I have a favorite race. I never paid really attention to it. But...
Something...
I mean, you only meet goblins and giants, really.
Goblins, giants, trolls. I think dwarves were mentioned once.
I thought you meant like a human, like a somewhat human trait.
I was going to argue and say that dwarves are somewhat human, but I hate dwarves, so never mind.
They're like
they're like people, but only a quarter of it.
No, that's the real 2.5 men.
What is that, like 6 dwarves?
Yes.
Oh, Josh, if there's a small person listening to this podcast, you're going to hell.
Fantasy
already going to hell.
Yeah, I was like, when does that change?
I'll keep a seat warm for you guys.
That's going to be hard to do.
If I were to pick, I'd probably say giant, since I'm quarter giant, according to you guys.
Well, if we go by that logic, mine would have to be troll.
Okay.
Conrad's been telling everyone that I'm half troll.
You're more than just
I think you mean werewolf, Josh. Werewolf.
That's a disease.
I would say orcs, but they're not in the Harry Potter universe.
No. I'm a half troll werewolf. There we go. That'd be badass.
I'm half man, half troll, half werewolf.
Man troll wolf.
Anyway,
Did James break?
Trying to get somewhat back on topic.
What topic? Oh, wait, that one.
Oh yeah, book 2. We're on that.
We just need a big card that sits here that says
it wouldn't work.
The topic is.
What would be your least favorite moment in book 2?
Least favorite.
I can say one of my most favorite is when Lockhart is entirely incompetent and turns Harry's bones into... turns Harry's bones into jello.
My hands down favorite was... My
Sorry,
favorite...
not as fun as least favorite, but I do enjoy that.
I know if we're going to start with our favorite part was Ron breaking Harry out. And then just like it's just like half the Weasley clan just like, dude, we're getting you out of here. Come on.
It's a small army.
This joint.
It's half the Weasley
and then he comes home and Molly is so pissed.
Yeah.
And then of course there's that whole bipolar thing of I'm not mad at you, dear.
I know it's the same thing with the Howler.
Oh my god.
It's like she gets so pissed at Ron and she's like, "And Ginny dear, congratulations on getting into Gryffindor. Your father and I are so proud."
Yes.
Oh my god. I think I have to bring it down to like.
Oh, can I throw in one more thing?
Sure.
The Valentine's Day bit with Ginny's poem, and was it the house elves that were dressed up like Cupid?
No, it was a gnome.
That's right.
It was a gnome that
dressed up like
him.
Cupid. Oh my gosh.
I think, let's see.
That's horrible. No, in the Harry Potter second book Game Boy game, that part is beautiful because they're just these freaky baby bird looking things with wings attached to them wandering around in the Great Hall. And it's...
In the PlayStation 2 game, I like that you got to denome the yard.
You can do that in the Game Boy game too.
Oh, really?
Yes, I have it.
It's not as much fun. It's not as fun as it is in the PS2 version. But if I had to pick my two favorites...
You swing
I actually have three.
I also gotta say, my favorite part after the break-in was when he gets there. He's like, it's not much, but it's home. And then like Harry's like, I think it's amazing. It's just like it just because you're seeing another side. You're seeing another side of magic that you don't see at Hogwarts. Yeah, and it's just the fact that like that whole house, that whole house is magic too. And you talk about how Hogwarts.
So fat.
You talk about how Hogwarts is there's some kind of sentience to Hogwarts. I believe the same thing about the Burrow.
Oh yeah, I believe any place that has a lot of magic used consistently will develop something like that.
Yeah,
like the warehouse.
Like left behind.
Shrieking Shack.
Yeah.
And then it burned down. Oh wait, that was just the crappy movie.
I know. What the fuck was that?
That was completely unnecessary.
Oh my god. Why would you do
7.1.
It's like
exist.
It's like, okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Gonna burn down the house, but that wasn't in the movie. Yeah, but we're still gonna do it. Or that wasn't in the book. Yeah, but we're still gonna do it.
Why? Because
pyrotechnics,
producers, and we can do what we want.
I did see this really.
There's not enough action in this book.
I did see this really funny post on Tumblr. How like
yes.
It's called like a book slapper needs to be. They need to make up that job on a movie set of someone who makes sure the movie stays close to the book, and that when a director finally goes, yeah, but what if the person goes up and smacks the director and goes, no,
I want this job so badly.
That's fantastic.
Especially
so
if
many
the
slaps on Harry
Chronicles
Potter.
become a movie, because then I'll just be like, yeah.
No, then you just take book 7 and smack the director with that. That lesson sticks around a little bit longer.
Yeah, assuming they're not dead.
I'd rather get smacked with a Chinese phone book.
We're gonna need another director. That's the third one this month. Just send one in.
He was trying to be dumb.
Well, maybe this one will learn.
Do you
to pay
want a
attention
good movie, or do you want a living director?
Yeah,
but no, that's probably my newest. That's probably my newest favorite post on Tumblr. Is that like because it's so true.
Let's see, but back to the favorite parts of the book.
Would have been useful for movie 3. Putting it out there. Oh my gosh.
But the favorite parts from book 2, probably the Enchanted Bludger.
Yeah.
The Whomping Willow's attack of the Fort Anglia.
Oh, geez.
And I'm torn between 3 things, and that's the entry of the Basilisk, which had an amazing entrance. Fox fighting the Basilisk.
Oh my gosh.
Or the now sentient Fort Anglia in the Forbidden Forest. I feel like that needs a little more attention, because that was fucking awesome.
It's like what's in the forest?
A car!
And then Josh's least favorite moment, spiders.
Actually, I like spiders.
I just imagine.
It's like, so long as they're in the screen, we're fine.
Yes, as long as they stay there. When they start pulling a ring, as they're calling out my TV, and they're going bye-bye for a number of reasons.
There's a good thing that 3D did not really catch on in home productions to quite so serious an extent as it has now when 2 came out.
I just imagine like 15 years after the Battle of Hogwarts, new students are coming into the Great Feast, and like they give that speech, and it's like whoever's the headmaster at the time is like, oh, the Forbidden Forest is well forbidden. Well, she's still there, like 15, 20 years after
she's
the battle.
going to be.
Okay, it's just like, this is like, there's many dangerous beasts in the Forbidden Forest, and a car.
And a car, damn you, Harry Potter!
I just imagine the Freshers be like, Did you say fucking car? Like,
do those even work here?
And of course, the purebloods. What the fuck's a car?
It's like, what is this? Is this a new beast that we don't know
magic?
about?
What is this car?
I gotta say, one of my favorite moments in the books is in the third one when they introduce what a gun is. In the Daily Prophet, and they talk about it's some kind of metal wand that makes
Muggles
loud.
used to kill each other.
Yeah, the Muggles used to kill each other. I'm like, that's probably the best way to describe
It's
a gun.
pretty limited when you think about it.
Yeah. Unless you're in a place where everybody always has wands, so they have to think of what spells. Whereas, boom, that takes no thought.
Jamie, your favorite parts of the book, book 2.
That could be the new slogan for the NRA. Not to get political, but boom, takes no thought.
I like NRA.
It's definitely the car.
like car.
It's just... Exactly. It doesn't get as much attention as it should, and it's really cool.
Well, I mean, it's like, especially because...
and then they had that flying car game, game thing. Really cool.
But they had that in the PlayStation version. They didn't have that in the PlayStation 2 version.
They had that on the Game Boy.
But
yeah,
you fly around and you hit coins and you get clouds just
I was
really
disappointed. I was really disappointed because I was like, I
Yeah.
thought we were gonna fly in the car, and it's just like, no, you don't get to fly in the car on PlayStation 2. I'm like, well, this sucks.
Well,
It's like I'm 12. I want to get some driving experience.
one thing that I really liked was that I kind of thought they were on the cusp of bringing in like Celtic magic, like druids, with the car actually, because it describes the one, they mentioned druids before briefly because one of them is on the Chocolate Frog card.
Right.
Who?
I don't remember, but also the car, which clearly has its own thought processes now, because it comes to save these two, but it
That's convenient.
well, yeah,
Go
but
rolling.
it also has it describes that it looks more wild because it has more of the greens and stuff of the forest have rubbed off on it, and a large part of like the whole druid thing is
Well, and it's not exactly
Life through
paved
nature.
in the Forbidden Forest.
well, right. Yeah. What is this? I kind of feel bad for the car at first, but then again, it ran away, so fuck you.
Did you have any other favorite moments?
No, that was pretty much
Really?
It. That was like,
I remember.
I mean, there's,
And now I
you know,
just have the
whole
Valentine's
book.
Day
Yeah.
poem running through my head of
I-
his eyes are as green as a fresh pickled toad.
I remember.
There's
I
a
just remembered
dark as a blackboard.
another favorite part of it. Hang on.
Okay.
It's the part where Molly's like, now speak loud and clearly and say Diagon Alley. And Harry's just like, and then drops the ash. Just like,
Who
what
taught
did
you English?
And it's like, what did he say? He's like, no one knows.
Arthur says, I think he said diagonally.
Just wait, he shows up in, I don't know, India or something like
What did he
that.
say?
Pops out of someone's
He said
chimney.
diagonally.
Hey, what did he say? He said
Diagonally.
diagonally. It's like, yeah, that's not it.
So
They described it kind of weird, flue powder travel in the book, for me at least, because they made it sound like you're spinning, and you don't, when you say the destination, you have to watch for the destination coming up, and then exit then. But in the book, or in the movies, they made it seem like you say where you want to go, you drop the ash, and you immediately pop out there. And I was just like, well, that just seems more simple. Like, if you, because I remember lots of times it being described as, oh, Harry was spinning while traveling by flue powder. And it's just like...
Well, and they give a similar description for port keys and things like that.
Yeah, and it's just like, well, this just sounds confusing. Like, how, if you're spinning, how would you be able to pay attention to where you're supposed to drop out?
So, I found the druid that was mentioned in the series.
Yes.
Of course.
Druidess Cleodna. That was appears on a famous wizard card for the Chocolate Frog. I believe it's one that Ron mentions he has. And I think it's funny they chose Cleodna, because Cleodna was a member of the Tuatha De Danann, or one of the goddesses.
English.
I just said that. One of the goddesses.
Of?
Ireland.
Ireland has their own, like, set of
Oh
gods?
God, you are a heathen idiot. Yes.
Actually, he's not a heathen. That's the problem.
Yeah,
This is the part where you just stop asking questions
I'll just
because
nod.
Josh is going to make fun of you.
I'll just nod, yeah.
Well,
Irish gods.
Got it. And then go home later.
But she actually
Cha-cha.
gave up her
What is
immortality.
it?
Huh?
She actually gave up her immortality so that she could be with her lover.
Dumb bitch.
And then she drowned.
That sucks.
Which I find it really interesting because she pissed off the sea god beforehand.
Don't do that.
Ironic.
Wow.
You know,
If the Greeks taught us anything, don't piss off the sea gods.
I'm going to piss off the sea god and then go for a boat ride.
Especially if it's on an island.
At
Banana
least you
McClure's like,
can't be
you
as
see
dumb
where
as the
this-
Roman
where you went
emperor
wrong here,
who
right?
declared war on Neptune and sent his army to go stab the ocean.
I will kill the river.
Stab the river!
Oh, that's Journey Quest.
Yeah.
Me.
Yeah.
Bravely stabbed you!
For the most part, I don't know if James has even seen it. I fucking love Journey Quest.
Yup.
That might
So
be
much
that'll
good.
be another podcast.
Oh,
Yes.
that's
I
amazing.
must kill the river.
Because I've watched like
they need to come up with season 3 now.
I've got like three.
I'll call my
three
uncle, get him
episodes
on it.
in.
Do it.
I should.
So shout out to Caleb Odie, who is Glory and Orcslayer.
He really is.
So much.
Yeah.
We just need to get him the chainmail and he's good to go.
Yeah. But trying to get back away from Journey Quest because I know I'll just die.
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
really
seriously,
hard
we need
to
to get
get
back
away.
on track.
So yeah.
So good.
Chamber of Secrets.
But the Ren Fair's coming up soon. Anyway.
No.
We'll talk about that later. We gotta get back on book 2 here.
So
Oh God, I've lost. Oh, we're talking about the car. Oh
Yes.
no, and
Druidus Cleona.
no, Flu Powder.
Well, we were talking about that. But.
Yeah, that too. Druid's Cleona, whatever the fuck her name is.
So but yeah, the car. And now I can't stop thinking of Journey Quest.
Oh jeez.
Thank you so much, me.
Anyway,
It's so good.
Yes, Jake.
I don't know.
You said so I assume you had a question.
Moving right along.
I wish they put. It's a deleted scene, but the part where the Malfoys come into Borgin and Burke's,
Yes.
and that's the first official introduction of Lucius Malfoy.
Yeah. I think that's important.
I really liked the Hand of Glory in it.
I wish they put in the brawl between Mr. Weasley and Lucius.
That would've been so
Lucius.
cool.
Or Lucius. They call them both of them, I guess.
Yeah.
Lucius.
Yeah, and then Hagrid just comes in and pulls them apart like two little
Because
kids.
he's Hagrid now.
Yeah.
I had something, and now it's gone. Thank you so much, Jake.
You're
Was
welcome.
it words?
It was words.
It was
actually.
words. God, no. Me, no, speak English.
Plug in the Game Boy game again. It's really fun when you go around in Nocturne Alley in the second game because you can go up to random passersby and if you talk to one of them enough, he gives you money to make you go away.
Really?
Yeah.
That was
Something that would happen to me.
Diagon Alley
Leave me alone.
was a fun part in
Everything.
in the PlayStation 2 game.
And the books. And
And the
movies,
books.
And
But no, it was just it was fun because you went into Flourish and Blots and then you went in like
Yeah.
I remember when you came out of the chimney in Borgin and Burke's, you hid in the cabinet.
Yeah.
Was that the vanishing cabinet that he hid in? Yeah, you hid in that, and then, geez, that thing just like all over the damn place.
oddly enough, it might vanish and reappear.
And then what you do
That'd
instead
make it
of
really hard to keep in stock. Anyway.
It really would.
because you're not allowed to go out the front door in the game, you go behind a
shit.
chimney, or you go through the secret passage in the chimney, and you go like basically through the back passageways of Diagon Alley.
Cool.
It was such a cool.
Well, and the Game Boy game's fun because then you just walk up out the front door and you can chat with all the vendors and see if they'll actually sell you anything. Which none of them will.
I'm just picturing Pokemon, but where the main character has.
Don't you toy with my emotions, Jake. Don't you toy with my
Oh my
emotions.
gosh.
I'm a huge Pokemon fan and a huge Harry Potter
That
fan,
would
and
be
now
ki-
I'm going to die because I need this to be real.
That would be kind of incredible.
I remember what I was
Maybe
thinking.
that's why he always wears the hat.
Oh shit, James! You don't know what you just did. James, you don't know what you
Niffler,
just
I
did.
choose you!
Dude, I would have an army of Nifflers.
And Hinky Punks.
Yes.
Hey, they'd be far more effective than what are they called?
Oh my God.
The little raccoon-looking ones in the third Pokemon area
realized-
where they have the pickup move, so that sometimes you're walking around, they'll get like a gold nugget or something.
I just
like
realized
that.
what Ditto would be in the Harry Potter.
Zigzagoon, that's
I just
right.
realized what Ditto would be in the Harry Potter world. A Bogart.
This is just the worst, like, inbred child fan
For the
crossover
record,
anywhere.
before we get too much deeper into this, I made it a personal goal to bring this up once every Pottercast. I'm really angry that there's no Peeves in the movies.
That's just not okay.
Doesn't he show up at least once?
No. He had. There was a
deleted scene in the first movie.
That's right.
And it was.
Yeah.
And it
That's
wasn't
why
even.
I remember seeing
and
that.
It wasn't even like he was
it
there.
wasn't
There
finished.
Yeah. I was so very angry about this.
All of
Well,
them.
and one of my favorite moments in book 5 is when Peeves is unscrewing the chandelier.
Yeah, no,
and
it goes
McGonagall
the other
said,
way.
Yes, it goes the other way. It's like, what?
We brought that up, I think, every single podcast too.
Or in the third one where Peeves is shoving gum in one of the keyholes and Lupin sends it up his nose.
Oh,
beautiful.
What he was
wow, I forgot about that.
That's a good spell. Remember that, just in case one of your enemies is ever messing around with chewing gum.
But then there's in the second book, he actually serves a fairly important plot purpose, and that's to exacerbate the problem, and where everyone thinks that Harry is the heir of Slytherin,
and he goes around
telling everyone and making up songs
Potter's
about
killed
it.
Again.
Yeah, I remember that. And he got caught by Peeves with. Was it?
Well, Peeves was the one who came upon him. No, he came upon after Justin died.
Yeah.
Well, Justin didn't die. He got
petrified after Justin and Nick were petrified.
Am I the only one that's convinced Peeves can see through the invisibility cloak?
No.
I'm positive
I don't think he can.
Yeah.
No, just the matter of what.
Something was mentioned about that in one of the books.
No, he felt like Harry was under the invisibility cloak, and he felt like he mentioned that he's like sometimes Harry feels like Peeves can see him through the invisibility cloak. If it was
as a poltergeist, Peeves would have a sense of presences and a sense of space.
Not necessarily see, but
he could.
But he would have some sort of awareness that something was going on there.
I think part of that was because he can become invisible.
Well, yeah, but in hindsight, considering what the
cloak was,
what the cloak is, there's no way Peeves would be able to see it. But
I don't know if Harry can break the Elder Wand like that.
You did, Okay, that's in the movie. All right, we're talking about the book.
And Peeves isn't.
We're talking about the good stuff.
We're talking about the stuff where all the right things are in there, nothing's wrong. Okay.
Yeah.
Like Peeves.
But no,
he's the original.
He's in the third video game.
Yes,
he does make a couple appearances. I remember.
Part of it's that Peeves is just one of my favorite characters.
I think that's when they started using the actual actors for the voices too.
Yeah, and for all of you tabletop RPGers, Peeves is the living embodiment of chaotic neutral. He can basically do whatever the fuck he wants.
Pretty much.
Borderline chaotic evil.
And the only ones that can control him are Dumbledore and the Bloody Baron.
Yeah.
Both of those make a good deal of sense, because the Bloody Baron's a terrifying fucker.
Oh, yeah.
And then there's,
And all he does
Dumbledore.
is moan.
Yeah.
Like, Mom.
And he waves the sword around.
That's true.
But...
Which I'm surprised, how effective... This is from someone who doesn't know as much about ghosts in the Harry Potter and other realms as she should, but how effective would those implements be against other spectral beings?
Could he use that sword against a spectral being?
Well, since the Bloody Baron's sword is a ghostly sword...
Wave his chains around a bunch.
I guess it could.
Yeah. Well, since it's made of the same stuff they were, I would presume that it could.
Alright.
However, what sort of damage it would leave, I have no idea. Because, I mean...
He might be able to fix Nick's problem.
I know, right? If there was a way to actually fully remove Nick's head, I think he would have done it a long time ago. He would have found someone who would have been able to.
I want to say it was mentioned... I want to say that it was mentioned somewhere in the book that Nick had talked to the Bloody Baron about finishing the job. Or it was
possible.
It was implied that the Bloody Baron had something to do with his head being nearly headless.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Well, no, it was because the executioner's axe was...
That was
blunt, he didn't bother finishing the job. That was the line.
Yeah.
But, okay, you know what? Actually,
I think he's one of the most underrated characters, too.
Nick?
Nearly headless Nick.
You know who I think is one of the most underrated characters?
Peeves.
Yeah. Actually, you know what movie really made me miss Peeves' appearance?
What?
7 Part 2.
With the song at the end.
No.
Oh, with him throwing crystal... Or not, him during the battle.
Yeah.
I would
love
to see McGonagall just gives him free reign. That was beautiful.
That is a terrifying thought,
Peeves,
friends.
just go for it. And it's like, really?
Okay, so there's a passing reference in something, but it's taken as canon, and it's earth magic, actually.
Yes.
And...
Would Devil's Snare be considered earth magic?
Making it grow. Making it move. However, what I wanted to see was so earth magic is an elective.
Yes.
In the battle, why didn't Sprout, who I guarantee you is in charge of that, get a bunch of them to give the Whomping Willow full mobility? Because
that would have been pretty.
You have giants, we have a Whomping Willow.
That would have been pretty difficult to control.
We have an army.
The Whomping Willow doesn't necessarily seem as though it would want to take direction.
Just Voldemort.
So then you root it back down when you're done.
Okay.
If Dumbledore was alive at the time, Voldemort, we have an army. Dumbledore, we have a Whomping Willow.
There's a good question. What would your guys' favorite elective class be?
We've answered this
I have to choose!
We've answered this before. We answered this in the first one, I think. No, because Defense Against the Dark Arts is an elective. Mine would flying be considered an elective?
Sure.
I'd be going flying.
But I feel like that's a first-year class only. It's never really brought up after that point. Because it's more of a basic skill that you need to have as a wizard, and then after that point, it's like going through driver's ed. Once you've gone through, you don't really need to go through it again.
Yes, because we need to put 11-year-olds through driver's ed.
Shit. What would an elective be?
So,
I guess Care of Magical Creatures, because it sounds like the most interesting one.
You know what's really a problem for me?
What?
You know what 2 electives are? Earth Magic and Care of Magical Creatures.
You would go Care of Magical Creatures.
I probably would.
Okay.
I will ride Fluffy into battle.
No.
I would ride Fluffy into the battle.
Provided that you're doing
How cool
more
would it
than
have been if
just
Fluffy was in the
worms.
battle?
Yes, taking on the Acromantulas.
Yes.
Eating them all.
Yes, all of them ever. And with some occasional help from Peeves.
It would suck if like someone's just like, hang on, I know how to handle this. They would just like whip out a harp, just and it's just like, oh shit, there goes Fluffy. Get up, Fluffy, get up!
Yeah, and then Whomping Willow.
That's right. Like, where's my conjure guitar spell?
You just know though, with the Whomping Willow, if it was in the middle of the battle, one random spell hits that notch.
Well,
like, aww.
And it's like a Bat Bogey Hex or something.
I'm sorry, guys. It would be me too.
It's just like, what happened to the Whomping Willow? It's frozen. Damn it, Josh! And he'd be like, what?
Didn't do it.
I'll explain the references to that later after we're off the podcast.
See.
But
So mine would be either Earth Magic,
yeah,
or Divination.
Yeah.
Partially because Trelawney's awesome.
I don't have the patience for divination.
No, I don't have the patience for Trelawney or Frenzy.
That does bring up the question, though,
like
is that I'm
Frenzy.
curious if the Daily Prophet publishes a horoscope section.
That would be the greatest thing ever.
That'd be really funny.
But that'd be kind of crossing cultures, wouldn't it?
Oh, totally. But they've mentioned druids in what is definitely English folklore.
Yeah, it's true.
Celtic folklore, English. Durmstrang is the most Nordic Germanic thing I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It even comes from a German opera.
The name?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Wagner had an opera called Sturm und Drang.
Oh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And
The more
I do
you
love
know.
Wagner.
yeah, right? So, yeah, the more you know.
But
Right at the Valkyries, bitches.
so
Good song.
what would yours be?
The Earth Magic would be cool. I think just as a really entertaining means of getting perspective, probably Muggle studies. That would just be a hoot.
I want to see a Muggle-born take Muggle studies.
It's like talking about the wizarding description of a gun.
Yeah.
It's like, how can we render all of these perfectly common human things that we interact with on a daily basis and reduce them to convoluted
Wizard talk.
yeah.
A wizard did it.
But no, like a Muggle taking Muggle study, or a Muggle-born taking Muggle studies would be like,
Didn't Hermione do that?
No, she took arithmancy, ancient runes, divination, care of magical
That's right. She
creatures,
was thinking
and
about
defense
doing
against
Muggle
Muggle
God,
studies. She was
ancient
thinking about
runes.
doing it.
Of
Done.
course,
Runes would be cool.
Done.
Runes would be cool.
I wouldn't have the patience. Same problem with divination. I wouldn't have the patience for ancient runes.
Provided that you could
And arithmancy would just baffle me.
usefully
because all of them would be
apply
swimming
ancient
constantly.
oh no, wait, what astronomy could be considered an elective?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
Ooh, I would take that. That and care of magical creatures.
And-
You know what would happen if I took astronomy?
But
Constantly, I would be removed from the premises because I would always say
I'm looking at Uranus.
Mars is bright tonight.
Oh no, I'd be like, hey, look, there's Uranus.
Yeah, we would be insufferable.
I would be kicked out of divination because I'd be saying that. Like, wow, Mars is bright tonight. It's
Yeah.
like Harry, it's like Jacob, it's noon. Yeah, but Mars is still bright tonight.
What you gonna do
I
about
can
it?
see the future, bitch. Mars is bright.
I'm looking into my crystal ball. Mars is gonna be bright.
I feel like eventually, if I took divination, it'd go kind of like a Hermione thing. What do you see? I'm guessing I'll get a good grade if I say death.
I'm gonna say, yeah, someone died.
I would just sit there, sip
The
the tea,
Grim.
and go about my day.
Boy, this tea's awesome.
But so back to the
That's
original
right,
topic.
2 hour tea time, perfect.
Oh yeah, we were
Just don't expect me to make up stuff.
So, what is your guys'
Sorry,
favorite?
I don't have the eye.
What is your guys' favorite title of Lockhart's book? All of which are alliterative, and I'm endlessly entertained by this.
I
don't remember any of them.
Magical Me, Voyages with Vampires, Year with the Yeti, Travels with Trolls.
Wasn't there a Dances with something?
Dances
with... it's my brain, there's a block there.
No, I know it too. It's
not Druids, I know that.
I would say
Holidays with Hags.
Holidays with Hags.
That was a good one, yeah. Or was there a Banshee one? Oh wait, no, but he did trap a Banshee in a T-striper.
Yeah, he battled a Banshee.
Was it Dances with Dragons?
No, I don't think it was dragons.
To the interwebs.
But no, mine's favorite year is Year with the Yeti. Just because, could you imagine Lockhart with a Yeti? Even though it didn't,
because he didn't actually do that.
I said even though it didn't technically happen, but could you?
That'd be really funny.
Yeah, it would.
He would just be out there in the snow complaining that it's so bloody cold the entire time.
It's so cold. Mars is so bright.
So let's see. Wrong one. Books by Gilderoy Lockhart. Mine is probably going to be...
Of course.
I do like Magical Me just because it's
Magical Me.
Incredibly...
there's Break with a Banshee is one of his books.
Break with a Banshee, that was it.
Gadding with Ghouls.
You don't get enough opportunities in a day to use the word gadding, do you?
No, you don't.
No.
Especially since we live in the
Marauding
US.
with Monsters.
Ew.
Travel with Trolls, Voyages with Vampires, Wanderings with Werewolves.
That would be yours.
Yeah. It doesn't look like there's a D one, though.
Okay.
I don't see it.
Maybe
How many times was he on the Daily Prophet?
Most Charming Smile Award? I think that was 5 or 6 times, yeah.
Yeah.
I think 5-time winner of...
5-time winner of which weekly's Most Charming Smile Award.
And then he just stands there and smiles for about 30 seconds.
And what was his life's ambition?
To start his very own line of hair care products.
And rid the world of, what was it? Bad haircuts or something. But no, it was something. It was
something hair related.
Like
yes.
Then there's known published works. That would have helped earlier. Who Am I is one of his. The travel.
Oh yeah, Who Am I was the if you stay tuned after the second movie, there's a scene. It's either during the credits or at the end of the credits, and it's at Florstrom and it says "Who Am I?" and it's his newest book. Because it's after he got his...
That's right.
It was after he erased his own memory.
Yep.
I did like that. I did like the whole Ron's wand breaking and nothing working for him, and then him throwing up slugs.
That's fun.
That was horrible.
8 slugs! Crap.
Oh no, ew.
You can't win, Weasley. I'm sorry.
Oh, weird. So did anyone, speaking of Lockhart, anyone notice his absence from the 5th movie?
Yes. I hated it.
He was supposed to be in it.
Was he really?
He was in an early draft of the Order of the Phoenix film, as he was in the book, but he was written out of the final version.
Because they cut the whole hospital scene out.
Yeah. Had he been there, it would have been the first time he and his ex-wife Emma Thompson were in the same film together since their divorce in 1995.
Oh, really?
Wait, Emma Thompson, that was the girl who played Trelawney, isn't it?
I believe so.
Yeah, Trelawney, because
You're right, yes.
Along with his mistress.
I love Emma Thompson. She's so
Helena
good.
Bonham Carter.
What?
Ooh, that would have been awkward.
Whoa! She's been married to Tim Burton for how many years?
That would have been awkward.
Incredibly.
They stayed together?
Juicy.
Well, I mean, he does...
In the words of Laverne from Scrubs, this is so juicy.
Tim Burton does push his best friend and his wife, he ships
He's the ultimate shipper.
Yeah, he ships his wife and his best friend, come on.
What?
Yeah, it's weird. But because he's married to Helena Bonham Carter. It's just I got an idea for a movie. Okay. It's about this really evil guy who falls in love with either this really evil girl or she's a really nice girl. Let me guess who you want to play. Yeah, Johnny Depp and Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk it?
It's just geez, didn't see that coming. Oh, wait, I did.
Oh, weird. Okay, here's a theory that Lockhart is originally Muggle-born.
Ooh.
Because, one, he has an inferiority complex as shown by the fact that he constantly takes others' achievements and makes them his own. 2, he seems to have forgotten that magic was real.
Maybe he just has a small
when he
he
expressed Fox's flying is just like magic.
It's just like
this,
magic.
coupled with his possibly Muggle relatives not visiting him at St. Mungo's.
Oh, wow.
But he does sign his own pictures, and that's very cute.
I know, because he at least remembers that he's famous.
Yes.
Yeah, well, of course, that would be the thing that remains. He's the only Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher to have no connection with Voldemort, apparently.
No.
Lupin through Pettigrew.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a stretch for a connection.
Not really. They were really close friends, and
Yeah.
in fact, because they were really close friends, there was a connection.
But he never had any kind of direct contact with Voldemort.
No, yeah, that's true.
But then again, what would Umbridge's connection be?
Ooh.
Umbridge.
I mean,
Dolores
she's
Umbridge
evil, but...
worked for the Ministry after Voldemort took it over.
Oh, that's true. But that was
that's before, though. That was
before
after
she actually.
was. That
I'm
was
not.
after she
Hey,
was a
I'm
teacher.
reading these. I'm not coming up with them.
Okay.
I wish I'd come up with the Lockhart theory, though.
That is a cool theory.
Yeah. He also received Britain's Best Dressed Wizard Award.
Of course.
Snappy.
He's snazzy.
I do like his costumes designs.
He is, yeah.
He is a snappy dresser. He's an
I
asshole,
do love
but
the
he's a snappy
descriptions
dresser.
of Dumbledore's outfits through the
Yes.
book. So, like a dark blue robe with gold stars and a purple one with.
I would go to say that
Dumbledore always used very regal colors in the book.
Yes.
he used very flamboyant,
Because he is a very
eccentric colours.
regal character.
Yeah.
In the movies, he used flamboyant and eccentric, or in the
Well,
books?
no.
In the books.
He used like a
They toned
royal
it down
blue and like
for
a-
He used really,
the films.
he used really mute colors in the book or in the movies.
In the
They're like
yeah.
lavender.
Yeah.
I don't even think that. I think it was a lot of
It's mostly
grays.
earth colors, yeah.
a lot of
some
grays.
Earth colors.
and-
Dumbledore does earth magic. Headcanon.
Dumbledore's a
Accepted.
druid.
Yep.
He does have the long beard.
Dumbledore's a gay druid.
Yes.
Well, since the Celts had no sexual taboos.
He's still a gay druid.
Yeah. That's what I was
Cool.
That,
Um,
with that beard.
it's-
He's a Viking druid, okay? Because of that beard.
Long white beards, long white robes. Hadn't really gotten the look together.
saying. As one of Lockhart's stated ambitions was harmony between magic and non-magic peoples, he may be in favor of greater rights for muggles.
Like
Though-
the Muggles even. know
Could
that
you
we
imagine if,
exist.
like, Lockhart ran for some kind of office
No.
position? Political, like political
Oh my God.
office position?
Oh, no.
Oh my
no,
gosh,
he wouldn't
the
run for a
world's going to
political
hell.
office position. He'd run straight for the top.
Yeah.
No, he'd go for minister, and he'd probably win because
He's-
all the housewives would vote for him.
He's just kicking the door. Hello, Mr. Minister. I'm the new
taking
minister.
your job.
I'm taking your
Obliviate.
job.
Oh my gosh, can you imagine the poor Muggle prime minister when he walks into his office?
Oh, God.
It's like this. It's like
Hello
that.
there. I'm Gilderoy Lockhart.
That's-
Probably never heard of me, but don't worry. We'll get on that.
Yeah.
Here are my books for you to peruse.
I would like you to publish all of them in your Muggle stores.
Free of charge.
We're getting down to business.
Yeah. They actually bring that up. Given his ego, he's probably regretted that his fame was limited to the wizarding community.
Huh?
Probably.
Yeah.
And apparently, Lockhart is the only person that Rowling based off a real person. With a quote-unquote barely exaggerated personality.
I'm going to say Kenneth Branagh does have that.
No.
But she's not said who it was. There were rumors that it was her ex-husband. But she said that those rumors were, hurtful, toxic, and inaccurate.
So we won't pursue that any further.
Yeah. Lockhart's favorite color is lilac, which
Yes, we know.
I always mix it up between lavender and lilac.
Hermione definitely knew that.
Yeah, no shit.
I do love the purple pen.
Yes.
Celebrity is as celebrity does. Fame is a fickle fiend, Harry.
Originally I kind of liked that because it gave Harry someone that he could relate to in terms of fame.
Even though he couldn't stand him.
No, he couldn't stand him.
But
But
Harry just didn't like the fame either. He just wanted to be normal.
Yeah.
no, but it's nice to have camaraderie in just about any given situation.
Would you take camaraderie in that guy? I'd be like, I'm not famous. Leave me alone.
I'd go ahead and first use Lockhart's own trick against him and alter his memory so he's not such a jackass.
That'd be nice.
I
I
feel
don't
like
think
he's
it
going to be
would
a
work.
jackass no matter what. It erases your memories,
wasn't
not your
famous,
attitude.
you
he
can modify
If he wasn't
memories as
famous,
well.
he would just be egotistical. And he'd be
I would
even,
introduce him
he'd be
to
even more
a mirror.
insufferable. He would be even more insufferable
you
because he
create-
wouldn't be
why don't
famous,
you
so he would be
modify a memory
discontented
so
and
toxic it
egotistical.
tells me to
I haven't seen so many people happy since Narcissus found or
Since Narcissus discovered himself.
himself.
Thank you, Hercules.
I love that movie.
I think James came up with possibly the most evil spell imaginable.
What?
It's the simple memory charm, but to modify a memory so it's so toxic that a person slides into an incurable depression and commits suicide.
Oh my.
What the fuck's wrong with you?
A lot of things.
Wow, that is
He's better at dealing with dead things.
that is depressing.
I don't know. For Lockhart, I could see it happening.
I just think I think the best thing about book 2, though, hands down, is the fact that we were introduced to a Horcrux and we didn't even realize it.
I know.
Right?
I believe there's a word for
It didn't
that.
have
it's
a
called
name yet.
genius.
Foreshadowing.
Foreshadowing. It's revealing pertinent information early on in the book to be disclosed later.
Yes. It's especially
Can anyone tell me what a Horcrux is? I will get to that soon enough, Harry Potter.
No, he's like, what's a Horcrux? I'm not even going to tell you, Harry. You'll find out soon enough.
Oh, so good.
Oh, man. But yeah, that was like, that's just kind of mind-blowing considering, like, you don't figure it out till like mid-6th book. It's like, oh my god,
there's a thing.
Like, it's just like wow, Rowling is a genius. Like, she set it up that far out.
Well, what I thought was what I noticed earlier. I mentioned this to you when my dad and I watched 7 Part 2. The series is sandwiched by break-ins to Gringotts.
Yeah.
First book, there's a break-in to Gringotts to Vault 713. And then, of course, they break in 7 Part 2.
Yeah.
And
you don't even have to say 7 Part 2. You can say Book 7, because Book 7 came first.
Fair. Well, I think of it 7 Part 2 because that's the one thing I did most recently.
Yeah.
And then there's also first book, Grip Hook. Second book, Godric's Sword. Grip Hook is always just that close to getting it.
Wow.
Oh, there's so many little twists like that.
God, she is just so brilliant.
Oh, by the way, plugging The Casual Vacancy, the book that Rowling came out with immediately following. I'm about halfway through it right now, and I'm thoroughly enjoying it.
I enjoyed it too.
For those who really appreciated the Harry Potter book for the magic and the mystery and things like that, the magic isn't there, but there's a lot of very human, very honest interactions between people, and I really appreciate the book for that. There's a lot of characters that
anyone
you hate
named Dursley?
So much.
It's not what you're expecting. Like,
no, it completely departs from her usual style. But it's entirely worth the read.
It's completely different.
It's not for young readers, but
it's very. There's some very vulgar stuff in there.
I still feel that one.
But it's a very honest look at small people's life.
Just to bring that into. Because that would just be
the main character that died, his name is Barry.
Barry Fairbrother.
Yes. But
it just sort of rolls off the tongue, doesn't it? Like Gilderoy Lockhart.
I hear Barry and I think Body, as in Mr. Body. Which was made famous via the board game and then the movie.
Clue. Gotcha.
Oh, that's right.
But no, back to The Casual Vacancy real quick. Yeah, you're not gonna get what. Harry Potter, of course. You're not going to get that magic or anything, but you're going to get J.K. Rowling's writing, and you're going to get that comfort you felt when you read Harry Potter.
Good.
And
I like that. It was like
it's a book that you want to keep reading.
I was about 20 pages in when I realized it's like, this isn't Harry Potter, but I'm still getting that. I'm getting that warmth, and I'm getting that feeling I would get from reading just anything Rowling. Also, she has a book. She had another book she wrote, but under a
pen name.
Under a pen name. I can't remember what it was called. Though.
I can't remember either, but I'm sure if you went on to what's the website?
All you got to type in is J.K. Rowling on Google, and it's like one of the first articles that comes up.
There's a huge buzz about it. I've heard that that's very good.
The big thing about it though is that her pen name was a male author.
Yeah.
It was and I was like, I was like, oh, that is awesome! I gotta find this book. I'm gonna read this book. J.K. Rowling.
I'm sure it's all entirely sold out right now, but I think you can pre-order them through some vendors.
Yeah, jeez, I didn't even think about that. That's once that was found out, that book had to become so popular.
So,
everyone wanted it.
Do we have any more questions about Chamber of Secrets?
No,
because it seems kind of like we're grasping at straws now.
Yeah. We kind of are. I kind of feel it. We've been going pretty long, about an hour 20.
Well, since this book isn't the most significant to any of us, it's not going to be one that we pursue with the same passion we pursue.
Book 3.
The next Pottercast,
which is the one that I read so many times that you can find a spelling error at the end of the book.
If you occasionally listen to the podcast, stay tuned for the next Pottercast because it's one of Jake's favorites.
No, it's hands down my favorite. I've read it more times than any of the other books. I've read it. It sounds stupid. I've read it at least 13 times.
Yep.
It's my favorite book.
I think it's Lauren's.
It's mine.
What about you, James? Where's it rank for you?
We won't. Second favorite.
Yeah, we won't kill you if it's not your favorite.
Well,
it's an insanely.
The last book is my favorite.
Yeah, it's an insanely
3
popular
and 5
one
the most
in the whole Harry Potter fandom. Book 3 tends to be a very popular one.
Yeah.
Because it introduces two of people's favorite characters, which is
Sirius
Lupin and Sirius. It's just overall a great story. Mm-hmm. Because it gives...
Well, and the Dementors are really interesting.
The Dementors, guys.
I'm just going to end with this.
Preview! That's how we're billing this!
Book 3 gives you a glimpse at the fact that Harry has he doesn't. It's not blood, but he still has family out there, and he still has people that love him. And it's like, oh my God, Harry's finally going to be happy.
Even though there's that interesting dynamic. Okay, I'll stop. But the initial way that he finds out about
Sirius is beautiful. That is pretty good.
And I mean, there's
That's
that. There's
awesome.
Doing it. Don't do the thing.
We're gonna do.
I'm just gonna point out werewolves.
Yes, werewolves.
And that it expanded the Harry Potter universe exponentially with the addition of everything.
Yes, it did.
There was a lot introduced.
Like a lot of creatures, a lot of rituals, a lot of everything.
Yeah.
Azkaban.
That's true.
It just broadened it, and I think that's why it's such a popular
because
book,
it
expanded the world.
You can go into Hogsmeade.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Well, it exploded with just so much new stuff. It introduced you to so many new things, so you're like, oh, this is all awesome.
Aren't you glad that J.K. Rowling was depressed when she wrote that book?
I'm not glad she was depressed, but I'm glad she wrote it.
I know.
Oh yeah, it's such a good piece
Rowling,
of work. Well, and all the stuff with time turners.
I will address
and,
Rowling, but I do not ever expect her to hear this.
Yes,
we are not sad that you were. We are sad that you were depressed,
and we feel bad about it.
And we feel bad, but we also greatly enjoy the fruits of that because you were able to write something that in your depression that came out and was beautiful.
And we love you.
Yes. So next month, it's going to be a month from now because we only do our podcast once a month. So you guys are going to have a little bit of a wait, but it gives you time to freshen up on book 3.
Yes.
Watch the movie.
Read book 3. Watch the movie. Yeah. Watch the movie while reading book 3.
Play the game. You can still find it somewhere.
Play the game while watching the movie while reading book 3.
Yes. On your computer and on your Game Boy.
And listen to the audiobook.
Yes, and listen to the audiobook.
All simultaneously.
The books
sipping tea.
The books are pretty good size, but it's not overwhelming. So you can knock it out in a couple days.
Oh yeah, easily.
Freshen up on the book.
Hey, you can knock it out in a day. It's so good.
Yeah, that's true. So freshen up on all that because we're going to be coming.
If you can knock it out in a single day, then read it 5 times.
We're going to be
because you obviously didn't spend enough time with it.
Clearly,
we're going to be We're going to be coming at you with so much next podcast with book 3.
Shoot, I better brush up.
Yeah. Yep. So right. I guess it's going to be signing out. We don't have a plan for our next podcast yet as what it's going to be about.
But we have ideas of guests.
Yes, we have ideas on guests and a couple ideas mulling around in our head of what we're going to do for it. So stay tuned. It'll be on the Facebook and the Tumblr very soon.
And Jake, I see a train of spiders. Should we follow it?
I think we should. It looks like it's leading into the forest.
Okay, Shaggy, let's go.
All right, let's do this.
All right, time to sign out?
Yeah, it's time to sign out.
All right. Peace out.
Bye.